All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm here with Danielle, Skeen, and we're doing our second episode of our first season of this podcast, talking about testimonies and what people have gone through throughout their lives. Hi, Danielle.
Hello.
How have you been?
I've been good. How are you?
Great, great. And so, what kind of testimony would you like to be sharing with us today?
Well, I'll be sharing about my journey to Oakwood and how God got me here.
Awesome, awesome.
Okay. Okay, so first I want to say that God will hold out on you until the very last minute to test your faith. And, I've been through a lot of things where He has tested my faith, but this particular story, I think He tested me the most. So I have to start from way back. In 2007, I came to America with my mom and my sister. My mom teaches Spanish and French.
Hey, nice.
And yeah. So she got a job here at a high school in South Carolina. I was 9 at the time, I think, and my sister was 4. So we were, young. So I came here in 2007, and then our visas expired in 2009. So we had to go back to Jamaica. That's where I'm from. I had to go back to Jamaica, and I did 6th grade there. Then after 6th grade, my mom got a new job in South Carolina again, the same community where we were before too. So that was good. So we came back here, and I did 7th and 8th grade. And then that visa expired again, and
Yikes.
the whole story behind that visa is crazy. But I came back to America in 2011, and I did 7th and 8th grade. And then that was the first time I heard about Oakwood from this lady at my church. She was an alumni, and she is a pediatrician. I've always wanted to be a pediatrician, so we kind of connected. And she told me about Oakwood and how, she had a wonderful time there and how she met her spouse. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be a pediatrician. I'm going to go there, study, meet my spouse, all that.
Wow.
So that's the first time I heard about Oakwood. And so that was, the plan for me, that I was going to go to Oakwood eventually. So after 7th and 8th grade, we went back to Jamaica, and then I did 9th, 10th, and 11th grade there because I said I wanted to experience high school in Jamaica. And then after 11th grade, I came back to America because Mom got a new job again, and I went to Gaston College in North Carolina, and I got my Associate of Science degree there in biology. And after Gaston College, our visas expired. So I've been living on visas my whole life. And that's how I think God's been testing my faith since I was 9, because waiting for a visa is the worst feeling because
I can't relate.
well, because you plan your whole life around whether or not you get the visa.
Right.
And if you don't get it, it just throws everything off balance. So waiting for all those visas, it's been crazy. So after Gaston College, the visa expired. My mom applied for an extension visa where she could look for another job to get another visa. But my dad and I's passports expired. So we couldn't get that extension visa. So we had to go back to Jamaica to renew our passports and await the visa process that my mom was, trying to work out. So the family was split in half for around 8 months because we had to go back July 30th, 2017, sorry. And then, so we stayed there for 8 months waiting on the visa process. And those 8 months were the worst months of my life because when we went to Jamaica, we didn't know where we would be staying because before we had left, before I had come back come to America for Gaston College, the house that we were living in Jamaica was rented. It wasn't our house. So when we left it,
Right.
It was the person who owned it. So when we went back for the 8 months, we had no idea where we'd be staying. So we called on family. Family said, okay, you can live here, but they weren't like, yes, come. They were kind of hesitant, which we would not expect because they're family. But we ended up living with my dad's sister. And the way how, her house is set up, it was very uncomfortable. And as a 19-year-old, I did not want to be in the same bed with my dad. But that was the situation for 8 months. I had to sleep in the same bed with my dad. We lived in one room. And it was just horrible. But so eventually, the whole visa process works out. We come back here in February of 2018. And I told God, I said, God, look, I need to be in school this semester for fall. So in February we came back. I said, God, I'm going to school in the fall, right? So I applied to Oakwood because, I've been saying I'm coming to Oakwood. So I applied to Oakwood. I got in. I applied to the pre-med program. And I got in, but had no money. Literally $0, 0 cents in my account. So I got in, didn't have the money. So I started applying for like scholarships and, asking people for help. But with the scholarships, they had a lot of international scholarships, but not for my status, not for my visa status. Like I had to be either a permanent resident or a citizen. But my visa status was not that. So I just wasn't getting anything. And even the ones that matched my status, they had they would draw one name out of thousands. So it just wasn't I wasn't getting anything. So fall semester I didn't get here because I just didn't have the money. So I said, okay, I sat down with my parents. I said, okay, I'm gonna do a CNA course, and then so I'll have some kind of certification to work, right? So I said I'm gonna do the CNA course, and then God will get me into Oakwood, and then I would apply for a F1 visa, which is a student visa, and so I'd be able to go to Oakwood and work and make money so I could pay my way through.
Right.
So that November, I think, no, it was September 2018. I applied for the CNA course at the local community college in North Carolina. And I started that. It was going great. About 2 months in, I got kicked out. That's a whole nother story.
Oh, shit.
So I got kicked out. It wasn't my fault, though, but it's another story. So that didn't work. And so, I sat at home, and every day I just cried. I was like, God, what is going on? I want to get into school, and I didn't hear anything from him. I just didn't hear him responding, and I was just crying every day. My family was worried about me. I would lock myself in my room and draw, because I draw, and I was just so depressed because I hadn't been in school since 2017 when I graduated from Gaston College. So eventually I kind of came out, got myself together, sat down with my parents. I said, okay, look, I am going to school in spring 2019. I'm going to school. Whether or not I have the money, I'm going to Oakwood.
You better speak it into existence.
Okay, so we sat down and we said, okay, you're going to school in the spring, no money or not. We're going to pack the bags and everything. So the last week so let me backtrack a little bit. So I applied to Oakwood spring 2019 I applied. And they gave me a transfer scholarship for $10,000.
What?
Yes.
Hey,
so
man, that's crazy.
That was more than half of the tuition. So I praise God for that. And that was a whole nother process that we had to go through. And that, So they gave me the $10,000 because I'm a transfer student. And then my dad, being the very outgoing person he is, sometimes we don't like it, but it worked out for me because he, like, everywhere he goes, he knows somebody. Like, he'll meet people and talk to them and make friends.
Yeah.
Even if he only met them one time, they'll be like friends for life because that's just how he is. So he started calling people and, like, you know, saying, my daughter needs help getting to college. He literally calls somebody from every state. I'm not even kidding. Like, he knows somebody in every state.
Wow.
So he called, like, his friends and, you know, family, you know, asking for any kind of donation or whatever. So they were like, yeah, you know, we'll help out. We'll get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't hear anything from anybody until the last week in December. That was like a week before school was starting. So this is crazy now. Okay. So December 28th, I'll never forget this. December 28th, I woke up at like 12 because, you know, when you're depressed, you just sleep. Like, so I woke up at 12 because all I did was sleep. And my dad called me and he's like, one of my friends just called and said, you got $2,000. So I said, okay, God, I see you. I see what you're doing. So more people called, and in total that day, 7 people called me.
What?
7 people.
Wow.
And the money that they said they were going to send to me totaled $7,000.
$7,000. That's the perfect number. 7.
Exactly.
$7,000.
7 people, $7,000.
Mercy. Wow.
I literally started bawling. Like, at the end, like when the last person called, and I realized like nobody else was gonna call for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I started bawling. Like,
that's all in one day.
All in one day.
Like, God said, yo, you're going to Oakwood.
So I had my tuition and like boarding and everything.
Wow.
You know. So.
And that's why you're here today.
Yes. And then on the 29th, that was like the last Sabbath before I came here. Mm-hmm. You know, people at church, they gave me money like for my personal use and gifts, you know, gift cards for like Walmart and stuff. And on December 30th, we drove down here and I moved in. Yeah. And, you know, it's every time I think about it, I feel like crying because it's just been a crazy, crazy journey. I didn't even tell you like half of what happened, but
the transition, the journey, everything up to this point was detrimental. Yes. But a crazy experience that you experienced. Wow.
Yeah, so that's my story. And I hope it encourages somebody because I know a lot of people, like even before I got here, I heard about people, you know, praying for clearance and not even clearance, but like just anything that people are going through or like if they're waiting on something. Mm-hmm. You know, God, as I said, God will hold out on you till the last minute. You just have to have faith and just wait and just pray about it.
Exactly.
And He'll literally come through like the day before you're supposed to do something, you know. But yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Danny, for this amazing and wonderful testimony of how you came to Oakwood. Well, that'll be all that we have for today. And check us out on our 3rd episode of our next podcast that we'll have with the next person.